Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. It is 8:07 p.m. I said I was going to start at 8. It's 8:07 p.m. I hate giving excuses, but I'm going to give you one. The weather sucks. So it was red light at every single stop, and people were driving at like 5 kilometers an hour. So that's my excuse, and I'm running with it. Anyway, I'm here, and today we're going to be talking about teeth whitening secrets. Yes, there are some secrets because that's probably the biggest misconception or the biggest things that have misconceptions surrounding it, which is teeth whitening. What works, what doesn't. So many gimmicks out there. We're going to cover the basics and then I'm going to tell you exactly what works. So stick around, okay, because I worked on this just for you. And this is, by the way, like the most asked out of anything in dentistry. This is the most asked, okay? Teeth whitening. So we're going to unravel the secrets. Before we get going, I do want to say, because right now, officially, Ramadan has started. So Ramadan Mubarak to all my Muslim brothers and sisters. And the fasting starts tomorrow. So the fasting is for 30 days. And for those that don't know, we fast from sunrise to sunset. And so I'm going to probably be looking a little bit either emaciated or I'm going to be putting on some weight, okay, unwanted weight. But we'll see. Time will tell. The goal is not to do that, but time will tell. Okay, anyway, today's episode number 52 of day 52 going live. I'm not going to miss a day, even in Ramadan. I'm going to keep going. The goal is to hit 300 days straight live. So far, I'm doing 52. And if you care, this is for the ones that actually have been following me and I've been seeing the consistency in it, is to provide you a little bit of inspiration for you to be consistent in whatever you want to do. All right, let's get to it. Teeth whitening secrets. Teeth whitening secrets, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for this? Are you ready? Because this stuff is only taught by Dr. Spinati at Spinati Dentistry, live on today's podcast/webinar. Let's get rolling. I wish I had some music. Maybe I'll include that in the future. Okay, we're going to get started here. Now, how does bleaching work? Now, before we get to how bleaching works, I want to talk about the first thing there that says chromophores, okay? Because chromophores is what is causing the stains. Chromophores are these long chains of molecules that get stuck in between the lattice of your enamel and your dentin. Breaking it down to simple terms, they're the color stuff that gets stuck in your teeth. And those what are the things that cause staining. One of the things that cause staining. As you can see there, one of the things that causes staining also, or causes your teeth to look discolored or yellowish or brownish, is aging. And we're also going to cover that in a tiny bit and see, okay, why is aging a factor in causing you to have yellow teeth? And what can you do about it? So you have intrinsic. So now that you know, generally speaking, I didn't go into detail in regards to chromophores. I just want you to know that that's the reason why you have these kind of stains. The stains are caused by chromophores. Chromophores are these molecules. They're pigmented molecules that get stuck in your teeth, get stuck in your dentin, and then light gets absorbed by them. And so then you see the color that it projects. And so the whole point of bleaching, and I'll go through that later, is to get rid of them. Okay, so now you have intrinsic, you have extrinsic staining. Intrinsic, just I'm just gonna summarize it, just because I don't want to go through the things that you actually don't really care about, but I wanted to let you know about the things you actually care about. And I also don't want to make this too long. So the intrinsic staining is basically just to put in your brain. It happens as your tooth is developing or as it's erupting. That's it. After it's erupted and after it's completely formed, then it's no longer the intrinsic staining. If your tooth is fine, it's the extrinsic staining. Okay, so intrinsic is when your tooth is developing or if it's starting to erupt, right? That's intrinsic. And extrinsic is what we're going to be talking about today. Extrinsic staining is caused by things that, smoking. We're going to go through that. Smoking, red wine, orange juice, carrot juice, sushi. Yes, sushi. And all that stuff. So someone even joked around and said, so I guess if I don't want my teeth to get if I don't want my teeth to get stained, then I should just not eat. I'm like, no, you can eat rice. That was a joke too. You can eat a lot of things. Just you have to stay away from things that basically it's like this. Anything that can stain a white t-shirt will stain your teeth. Okay. It's actually that simple. But there are things that stain your teeth a lot more than other things. We'll go through that as well. See how I'm putting suspense in there because I'm like I'm not going to give you all the answers all at once, so you can stick around. Okay. All right. So we're gonna keep going here. So we talked about chromophores, we talked about intrinsic staining, extrinsic, and a little bit about aging. All right. Now let's talk about extrinsic staining. You see how this picture right here, this attractive male who has got really nice teeth. Now several things are going on there. You can see here that he has yellow teeth. Okay, he's got yellow teeth. They don't they don't look attractive at all. He's also got a few other issues which we're not going to talk about, but we're going to talk about extrinsic staining. So we talked about why staining happens, and that's because of the chromophores. The chromophores are the staining molecules, okay, that are contained in all those things that you see on the screen. You see coffee, tea, red wine, carrots, oranges, tobacco. But I also omitted some things because I want to keep some things for people that actually attend. And it's basically anything, any berries will stain your teeth, right? Like raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, black currants. Like these things are notorious for staining your teeth. But the ones, according to studies, the ones that stain your teeth the most are these things, right? Coffee, tea, red wine, carrots, oranges, and tobacco. Okay, so yes, if you are a heavy consumer of those things, your teeth are going to get stained. But there's a solution to that. That's why it's lovely to be a dentist because you can solve a lot of these problems. Okay, so now you know what extrinsic staining is. We're not talking about intrinsic staining. Okay, if you have intrinsic staining, this is different. Okay, bleaching doesn't work for intrinsic staining for the majority of the part. Also, we're not going to get into details of that, but just generally speaking, intrinsic staining is not resolved with bleaching. Okay, just put that as a. There's always exceptions to the rule. We're not talking about exceptions. We're just talking about the general rule. Okay, so if you're a know-it-all and you're gonna say, Dr. Spinetta doesn't know everything, he's wrong. No, I do know, but I'm not trying to complicate things here. Okay, aging. Now you have to know some things that happen as you age, and why your teeth are getting why your teeth get yellow as your teeth. So as you age. So the thing that is very apparent is the wear of the enamel. Okay, because there's two layers that you have to know about with regards to staining, and that is your enamel and your dentin. So you have your enamel, which is the first, the white layer, the nice layer, right? And you have your dentin, the one's underneath the enamel. Well, as you get older and as you're brushing your teeth, and obviously you're eating acidic foods and all that stuff, your enamel is getting eroded over time. It's getting worn down. So the more wear, the more that the dentin now starts to show through. Now, here's the thing that really sucks, is that the only thing that actually you can whiten is the dentin. You can't whiten. Sorry, you can't. The only thing you can whiten is the enamel. You cannot whiten dentin. So that's the thing that really sucks, is that you have to do your absolute best to try to maintain your enamel as much as possible. Because if you get rid of your enamel, if you're not careful, if you're brushing your teeth as soon as you eat, as soon as you finish eating, or you drink a lot of pop, or you drink a lot of tea, or you drink a lot of wine, or you drink a lot of coffee, like these acidic foods, then you're going to wear away your enamel very quickly, right? So then your teeth are going to look like they're the old teeth very fast. But for those people that consume moderately and they don't brush their teeth aggressively, they don't brush their teeth right after they consume foods, then your teeth will gradually get yellower as you get older, simply because the enamel is going to get smaller and smaller, and then the dentin is going to show through. The dentin is yellow. Okay, so that's like the apparent one, like the obvious one. The not so obvious, the one that really not too many people talk about, is the composition of the dentin. So the composition of the dentine, okay, now this is going to get a little bit technical, so just hang in there. I'm going to get to the fun part later, okay? Just in a short while, just hang in there, okay? Just letting you know why your teeth get yellower as you get older. So it's not just the wear, but there's also this dentin. So dentin, actually, the composition changes as you get older. When you're young, the dentin there's a lot of these dentinal tubules, a lot of these pores in the dentin, and because it's so porous, you have a property called, it's a heterogeneous property of optical light deflection, which means that as soon as the light hits the dentin, it bounces around, right? So it bounces around, and then it doesn't get sucked in, it doesn't get absorbed. All right, so it bounces around, bounces out, and so it gives you that nice vibrant look. When young people whiten their teeth, they look really nice and white. That's the look that you get when you don't have that kind of that thick dentin that doesn't have so many of these dentinal tubules, and the structure is a little bit different. When you get older, the structure changes. The structure of the dentin changes. And so the optical properties become more homogeneous. Homogeneous means becomes all the same. And so then when the light goes in, it actually gets absorbed, right? So the light gets absorbed, and so your teeth look duller and darker, even when you whiten them. So that's the reason why, as you get older, your teeth will automatically look yellower or look more dull. Now, obviously, there's solutions to that. We're not talking about that here, but one of the obvious solutions is veneers, because veneers rejuvenate your mouth. Okay, but we're not going to talk about that in this one. I already covered it in another podcast previous to this one. I'm going to cover it again, obviously, but we're not talking about it here. I'm just going to let you know about aging. Okay, and so there are certain factors that you cannot fight. Now, one last thing before I continue is with regards to enamel. Now, some people are born with thick enamel. Some people are born with thinner enamel. People who are born with thicker enamel obviously have nicer, whiter teeth. There are some people that don't even need to whiten their teeth. The teeth look freaking white. Okay, but they also don't consume a lot of the staining products that I mentioned. Okay, but and as soon as they whiten their teeth look gorgeous. But those are very rare and few in between. And yes, life isn't fair. Okay, so now, so I already covered that. Okay, now this, I'm going to take my picture out. I don't know why. There we go. Okay, it says chop them up. Okay, so what happens? What happens with bleaching? How does bleaching work? That's the whole point of this slide. Okay, it's for me to tell you how the heck does bleaching work, because people are like, oh, bleaching's not bad, is bad for you. No, it's not. Okay, especially when it's, oh man, I forgot to remove this lorem ipsum dolor. Ah, what a rookie mistake. Okay, let's remove this thing. So how does whitening work? Whitening works by, remember how we talked about the chromophores? We talked about those pigmented molecules, the chromophores, long chains. Okay, if you ever take chemistry, you know about chains and long chains and bonding and stuff like that. Anyway, so what the peroxide does, peroxide is an active molecule. Okay, so it's an active molecule. What it does is it reacts with these long chain chromophores, breaks them up, chops them up. Okay, like karate chop. Okay, chops them up, makes them more soluble, and so then they get out of the teeth. Okay, so, and that's one of the theories as to why your teeth become more sensitive when you bleach your teeth. But that's one of the theories. But again, we're not talking about that for a sec. That's how basically the bleaching works. It's actually a very simple science, and so when you bleach, the more chromophores that you have, if you've been smoking for a very long time, it's going to take you a very long time for these chromophores to be chopped up, right? So some studies even say you have to whiten your teeth between 3 to 6 months for you to see results if you are a heavy smoker and you've been smoking for a while. You might not even see the results that you want, and then in that case, obviously you want veneers. But I'm just saying, and also you're going to be susceptible to a lot of sensitivity. So there's a lot of side effects when you do it for that long period of time at a very high concentration. Okay. But I'm also going to cover that as well in a sec. All right. So now I'm going to put the slide back up. Now you know about how this teeth whitening works. So I'm just going to read it. It says here, peroxides are reactive molecules. Peroxide, so hydrogen peroxide is the active ingredient that teeth whitening solutions use in order for your teeth to become whiter. Okay, so that's but the hydrogen peroxide part breaks down into peroxides, and so then you have these peroxides. I'm saying peroxides are reactive molecules. They attack the long chain, dark colored chromophore molecules, split them into smaller, more diffusible molecules, and then light is no longer absorbed, and so you get white teeth. Okay, all right. Now, what works? And this is the secrets part. Okay, you know how I mentioned that there's teeth whitening secrets. This is the secrets component. Okay, so the secrets component, literally, I brought it down to 3. There's a lot more. There's a lot more, you know, a lot more things involved with teeth whitening with regards to like different options, but those are the major ones. You have in-office whitening, you have custom trays, you have over-the-counter. The in-office whitening, it says here high concentration of hydrogen peroxide. At Spinati Dentistry, we use the opalescence boost, which is a 40% hydrogen peroxide, what is also infused with fluoride and infused with desensitizing agent. So it's actually an incredible, I would say, according to my research, it is the best on the market today in terms of, and it's backed by research, it's backed by a lot of evidence with regards to it being actually the best and working the most. And also, it doesn't need that light. And I'm not going to talk about that light thing at this podcast. I'm going to talk about it the next one. But needless to say, is that the in-office whitening using opalescence boost is, according to my research, the best on the market without any gimmicks. Okay, so that's the in-office whitening. The second option is the custom trays. Custom trays, those are the ones that you go to your dentist and then he makes or she makes you those trays. You take them home, you put the gels that they give you, and then you wear them for a certain period of time according to their instructions based on the concentration of the whitening agent that they give you. And then the over-the-counter is such things as the whitening strips, like Crest White strips, and those have a certain percentage. The Crest White strips have 6.5% hydrogen peroxide, which in my opinion is a little bit high, but if you can tolerate it, that's great. Okay, now, the moment you've been waiting for, the secret sauce. Okay, the secret sauce. Here's the secret sauce that works really well, and it's been working really well for all my patients, is this. Is you come in for an in-office whitening. Okay, that's a 1 hour procedure. In-office whitening, 1 hour procedure, 2 to 3 applications of hydrogen peroxide, 40% hydrogen peroxide, opalescence boost. It's 1 hour. And then you follow that with 2 to 6 weeks of at-home bleaching trays with 10% carbamide peroxide. Now, the reason why carbamide peroxide is really great, and a really cool fact here is that carbamide peroxide, the name carbamide peroxide, is used only by dentists across the world. Only. We're the only professions that actually use the word carbamide peroxide. What the rest of the world uses is hydrogen peroxide urea. Now, the reason why that's a more apt name is because the hydrogen peroxide urea or carbamide peroxide breaks down into urea and hydrogen peroxide. Now, why is urea so good is that it increases the pH. The pH becomes more basic in your mouth, and so then the activation of the chemicals of the peroxide becomes a lot better. And so you get a lot better reactions, and so you get whiter teeth. And so with a 10% carbamide peroxide, it works out to around 3% hydrogen peroxide. And so then the sensitivity is incredibly low, if at all. If at all. Like I haven't had any patients who experience sensitivity with 10% carbamide peroxide because the hydrogen peroxide concentration is so low. And because the pH is so high, the effectiveness is really good. It works tremendously well. And the prescription is for you to do it for 2 hours every day between 2 to 6 weeks, depending on how white you want your teeth to look. Okay. And it's incredibly safe because it's such a low concentration and because there's urea, increases your pH. So now you have a more basic environment in your mouth, okay, which is always the best. Now, what's the third thing? Okay, this is a secret sauce, I'm telling you. Okay, this is only people that come to Spinati Dentistry will know this once they get teeth whitening. But I'm telling you because you're attending this podcast. Okay, so this is a reward for you. So the third thing in the secret sauce is probably something you probably don't want to hear, but you have to reduce the amount of foods that stain your teeth. I mean, it's kind of obvious. The more things that stain your teeth, the more frequency you expose your teeth to, the more that your teeth are going to become stained. So things like I mentioned, coffee, tea, red wine, carrots, orange juice. I did say sushi, but it's not really the sushi. It's the soy sauce. Okay, the soy sauce is the one that is notorious for causing staining. But the reason why I don't really mention it too much, and I mention it just because it's kind of funny because a lot of people like sushi and they're like, oh, you can't even have sushi. You're not drinking the soy sauce, right? So it's not like it's gonna be like such a big factor. If you're drinking the soy sauce, yes, it is definitely going to be a big factor. So stay away from sushi if you're, a soy sauce drinker. But until now, I have not encountered someone that likes to drink soy sauce. It's kind of gross. So that's why sushi, like when you dip your sushi inside soy sauce, I mean, it's very, very minimal effect. But the two biggest ones, coffee and tobacco, two biggest ones, and red wine. Okay. But overarching: tobacco and coffee. Okay, sorry for the coffee drinkers. Okay, so that's it, people. Holy moly, 20 minutes. I always try to make this so short, and it ends up being so long. All right. Next podcast. Next podcast, we're going to be covering what toothpaste to use, and it's going to blow your mind as to what toothpaste you should be using. Do DIY teeth whitening things work? And does laser teeth whitening work? And this is the controversy that I don't know why people don't talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it, okay? Because you have the right to know. And because also if you Google it, you can find out the answer. So it's not much of a secret. But marketing on the other side is so high that many people believe that this laser whitening actually works. A lot of people have asked me about laser whitening, and I'm like, oh man, people actually believe that stuff. So we're going to talk about that. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was great. If you want the PDF, just message, put comment me underneath, like either Instagram or X or Facebook or wherever you're watching this. Put me, like the actual me, like ME, and I'll send it to you. Okay, I'll DM it to you, the PDF. No problems. All right. Hope you're enjoying this. Hope you're having a great time. And again, if you are Muslim and you're celebrating Ramadan, then Ramadan Mubarak. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Stay well. And as always, keep smiling. Good night.